Hello traders, and welcome to this market overview video from FoxEx for the week ahead commencing on Monday the 4th of June. Before we get into the charts, we would like to let you all know that last week we released a fantastic update to the FoxEx trading software. Thanks to the professor and to Piers and our brilliant web development team, we have now introduced fully automated wave drawing functionality, which works with our wealth crossover indicator on all available time frames. For those of you who don't know anything about this indicator, we would strongly recommend that you take a look at our growing library of free educational videos, which can be easily accessed via our trading platform in the help tab shown here. These videos are very short and easy to digest and will quickly bring you up to speed not only with the wealth crossover indicator but also with our entire suite of trading tools. Now, for those of you who already know all about the wealth crossover indicator and who already use it, we are very confident that this automated addition will provide you with lots of benefits, including the ability to analyze the charts much more efficiently. The new functionality looks like this, and now as a new bar finishes forming, the wave created by the wealth crossover is automatically updated, and in addition the endpoints of the wave are highlighted, thus indicating the relevant price levels as shown here. These levels of course represent very accurate estimates of potential entry and exit points or turning points in the financial markets. Not only is this a great development for FoxEx and for our growing community of users, but we also feel that this is a significant breakthrough for the industry as a whole, as there is nothing currently available to retail traders which provides access to this high level of financial engineering. As you may already be aware, the wealth crossover indicator is the work of our founder, Professor Simon Shepherd, and is based purely on advanced mathematics. Unlike most other trading tools currently available to retail traders, the wealth crossover indicator measures both volatility and momentum with zero lag, and in doing so it consistently produces remarkably accurate estimates of major swings in the markets. So if you're brand new to FoxEx, please feel free to sign up to our beta test and take full advantage of the wealth crossover indicator and also the rest of our trading tools, our educational content and our online trading floor. Okay, so moving on, we will be changing the format ever so slightly in this market overview. We're going to focus less on the previous week and more on the week ahead, as that is ultimately where the rubber hits the road and where moves will be made. So let's cherry pick a few markets which will most likely be our main point of focus for the upcoming week. First and foremost, let's stay here on this chart and take a closer look at the euro, which after a very long run down has now reached the end of the weekly wave, and as you can see here has also reached the end of the daily wave. The euro has also recently produced the largest buyer's bar that we have seen since the 13th of February, and last but not least, the month of June is historically a decent month for the euro as well. Now, all of these observations add credibility to the likelihood of a move to the upside here on this symbol in the upcoming days. Now, for those who like to trade the lower time frames, we have already started seeing quite a few green price action entry arrows appear here on the 15-minute charts, and also here on the 1 hour charts, which some of our day traders and scalpers may well have already profited from. Here on the more slow moving 4 hour charts, we would like to draw your attention to this green price action entry signal, which incidentally is the first one that we have had since mid-April. At FoxEx we did actually open a very small buy position based on this price action entry, with a stop loss way down here below the daily swing. The euro is most definitely ripe for a turn to the upside and is definitely a market to keep a close eye on here in the month of June. Moving on, let's take a look at the Japanese yen, which, as we have been saying for many days, is historically the strongest currency in June, and so we will be looking to short the USDJPY if and when a clean and clear opportunity arises. So interestingly, here on the yen, the weekly chart, as you can see right here, is right at the top of the wealth crossover wave and has already produced a very healthy looking seller's bar. We have had some nice movement to the downside here on the daily also, of course, which has now reached the bottom of the wave. And here on the 4 hour, again, we are at the top of the wave. Now, regardless of whether you trade it or not, it is well worth observing and learning from this market in the upcoming days and weeks, because unlike the euro, what we don't yet have on the yen is clarity. According to the wealth crossover indicator, the weekly, as you can see here, is looking very bearish, the daily is looking more bullish, and the 4 hour is also looking very bearish. We also have seasonality data which suggests that a down move is on the cards. So overall, it definitely makes sense to have a bias to the short side on this pair. However, we cannot ignore the fact that the daily is bouncing off the bottom of the wealth crossover wave. So again, this really is an interesting market, not necessarily to trade quite yet, but definitely one to observe and learn from as price unfolds in the upcoming week. Now, on the surface, there will be times such as this where the wealth crossover waves appear to contradict one another, and if this is the case, it's always best to be patient and wait for a clear setup. Also, please remember that the waves on the daily charts will be made up of smaller waves on the 4 hour charts, and the waves on the 4 hour charts will be made of smaller waves on the 15-minute charts. So this apparent disagreement in the waves of the wealth crossover indicator is actually perfectly natural and normal. We may well get a little push to the upside here on the daily before getting a larger continued push to the downside on this pair. One thing worth mentioning is that the wave structure on the higher time frames is always stronger, and price will typically respect it much more consistently than on the lower time frame. So paying attention and being aware of the waves on the higher time frames is always recommended. Now, in an ideal situation, we are looking for the weekly and the daily and the H4 to be in some sort of agreement. This confluence of waves will produce a much higher probability of success, since you will be trading in the same direction as the market weight on multiple time frames. As always, patience is vital in waiting for a clear and clean setup. Next, let's take a look at the Swissy, another interesting cherry that we have picked in recent days. Here on the weekly chart, we are in the vicinity of the end of the wave, but we are not yet right at the end of the wave. However, we are at this nice level of resistance here, and price certainly does seem to have respected this level thus far. Here on the daily charts, after some downwards movement, we are now at the bottom of the wave and perhaps due for a short pullback of some description before a possible continued push to the downside. Again, a bias to the short side on the Swissy for sure because of seasonality, but perhaps best to wait for more clarity before opening a position. We will certainly be monitoring this pair in the upcoming days at FoxEx and waiting for a nice clean setup if it occurs. So these three markets will be our main point of focus for the week ahead, but there are no doubt lots more opportunities bubbling away across the board. As always, you are very welcome to join us via our online trading floor, and there you can stay right up to date with the latest moves in the markets, and also you can share your thoughts and your insights with the entire FoxEx team and with our growing community of traders. Okay, have a great week and thank you very much for listening. This has been a market overview from FoxEx.